no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood crib, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be. Yeah.
Black Box Productions.
Neighborhood in that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
Neighborhood is C-Mac. Shout out my loc, Spotter Low, cuz. Neighborhood on hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight me? Fight, crib.
In the words of Spider Loke on my mama's mama.
Over feelings with my boy Spider Loke.
Ooh yeah. Yeah. Ooh yeah. Darling, yeah. Hey, reality. Ooh yeah. The life we living now is all about the money. So what you gonna do when you ain't got no money?
Back over Feelings, the podcast. We back again like we never left. We keep it a Google for death. I have a very special guest. He might be new to y'all, somewhat old to me. He's my brother, Mohawk Matt. I'm gonna need an explanation as how we got to the name Mohawk Mac. What that East Side like, man?
East
Welcome, man. Facts over Feelings. Before we get cracking, your name, your moniker is like, it's so catchy. You know, if I had to, when I told Alex, Mohawk Matt was coming. When he saw you from down there, he admitted that he expected to see a Mohawk. So
everybody says that.
Where you get the tag Mohawk Matt without the Mohawk?
When I kind of transitioned to a different stage of my life, I've always been a little bit, don't laugh at me for this, I've always been a little bit into anything 80s, punk rock and that kind of music. I always had a Mohawk back and forth growing up, but as I got a little older and got out to join, I thinned out a little bit, so I couldn't grow the Mohawk. So if you notice, I got a Mohawk tattooed on my head in Mohawk letters. It goes right down the center like a Mohawk.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. Welcome to the spot, man.
Thank you, dog.
I've been meaning to ask you that for a while.
Everybody does.
I want to draw everybody's attention to the sullen wear. Don't sleep, don't slip. Let them know where they can get that and what this represents.
SullenClothing.com. We're the biggest tattoo art collective in the world. We take tattoo art from anywhere, from any artist that's amazing, and we put it on t-shirts and sell it. We got a good Instagram, Sullen Clothing, Sullen Family.
How do I refer you to an artist?
Send any artist to me and I'll get it to the top dogs. Uncle Jeremy, Color Crimes, shout out. Any artist, just submit it, get it to me or get it to them on Instagram.
Have you ever heard of Mop Ink Tattoo?
Yeah, of course I have.
Tattoo Danny, you know?
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but I've heard of the collective.
That's my partner, man.
Right on.
He Tattoo Danny's really responsible for this whole arm all the way
up.
Yeah, on God.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I'm gonna put you in touch with him.
Yeah, please do.
So, as far as the Sullen movement, what is your affiliation? How can you give people an idea of like what do you do there? Or
I do a lot of the social media. I run a couple of the apps. One of them full time. The main app I help out Uncle Jeremy with half the week. I'm one of the main models doing videos, modeling, a little bit of the recruitment. We find people like yourself and other people of influence in the communities, and we like to get them in our gear.
I would love to make it a lot more permanent, but I want to thank you and let the people over there know I appreciate the affiliation, the sponsorship. They've been keeping me with gear and the conversation that's going on. I would like to keep it going on. It'll be a
we would love that as well, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but besides the modeling and videos I do, like I said, recruitment, I find people, we're trying to move more into LA culture and style too, so that's going to be coming up. I do a lot of the computer orders, and I have a new position that's a secret to be starting after the first of the year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Do they actually have an urban department?
Not a technical urban department, but I would, if I'm not speaking too forward, that's kind of what I've been trying to do, blend more of our LA culture. Because, you know, like at the end of the day, we can say what we want. We all get along, we all intermingle, but when it comes to our areas, like me and you got the Orange County, the Dago, you got the valleys, you got Los, you got South Central. You know, we got our areas. We're all different a little bit in styles, and I'm trying to bring more of
to
this.
Accentuate the differences.
Yes, because we have a lot of that at rest, but LA is coming.
But like I see, we have some very simple pieces on now, but we had just to give an idea. There's a large range of different styles and looks. Tattoos are tied in with the whole concept of the clothing. We see you have a ton of tattoos.
Lots, bro.
Now there's a difference in the culture between street tattoos and prison tattoos.
Totally.
Are we to assume that you didn't receive all these on the street, right?
You're right. You're very right.
I can imagine. About what percentage of your tattoos received on the street versus?
Funny enough, lately I've been redoing all them prison tattoos.
I can tell you got some brand new colors.
Well, I got some new. I've been trying to, explore and get all this new stuff from all these amazing artists. I'm very fortunate to meet some of the best artists in the world working with this company. Some great guys.
That's right.
And I've been.
You don't have much room left, huh?
No, I don't, bro. Hey, Spider, I'm in those uncomfortable spots for me and the homie.
Bro, you don't have to. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, we're going to change. But tell me this. How do you. I'm going to just give everybody their props. I know it's a very common thing these days, but I have quite a few tattoos. I could never imagine. How do y'all come to grips with this?
Well, for me, like I just did another podcast called Blasted last night, and we spoke on that. It's a big thing because, like, nowadays you see kids showing up first one, homie. I need an 8. Let me get an AK. I want a grenade. I want the hood on my.
Right.
Slow down. Like most in our day, we started under the shirt.
Right.
We were not like I had half. And again, I served my country. I was in the U.S. Navy, so I had to have them.
Thanks for your
service. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I had to have them underneath T-shirt level. As I grew, got out of that. Grew and grew. I went to jail. I ran out of room. So when you hit the neckline, there's nothing left. You start. I started at the neck, and then oh man, okay, now I'm no more room. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it kind of became an addiction, especially since I got sober, and it's a good addiction.
It does.
And then it just grew and grew, and now I'm at the place where I'm going over all that prison stuff. If it meant something from prison. There's some of them I had to remove, which were good. And then there's some of them that meant something that I keep, and I'll just have those redone. But then there's some of them that I'm not touching because they're so sentimental.
Just
but for
based on your life experience.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Based on life, we earn things, we get things that are good to us and our areas.
Yes. For a lot of people from the outside looking in, you being a Wood, me being affiliated with the Crip car, from a prison perspective, you mind sharing how much time you done?
I did 19 years.
In one stretch?
That was collective of 3, and then a juvenile series too.
All CDC?
All CDC.
Salute.
Yeah, all CDC.
My salute to him, y'all, is not celebrating that. I know what he's been up to since he's been out, and there's a sense of me having pride in accomplishments because that is enough to crush a lot of spirits.
Yeah.
And for him to come out on the other side, a whole nother man, and to be able to be productive, that's the salute. Not congratulating anyone for actually being robbed of that much of their freedom. Any key points in life, any lessons you learned from being behind the wall? I know you learned a lot of things, but anything that you can pinpoint that you took and you've utilized since you've been out that you can say has been beneficial for you to stay on the right path? I heard you mention sobriety. How did you get to the point to where...
What you just said is very important. And I speak on the first thing you said a lot. I speak to a lot of people because I tell a lot of people, like it or not, there's differences. You, me. But I've told people one of the best things I learned in the joint, you learn how to respect a motherfucker. You learn how to network. You learn how to be social. You learn how to get along with people. I don't have to necessarily like you at all, but I will respect you at a high level. And but when you come to terms with that and you get over any type of setbacks you have in your own mind, whether it be racism, whether it be that hood, this hood, politics, religion, when you get past that, man, I've been around some of the best motherfuckers in the world, whether you Crips, Bloods, Woods, Skinheads, essays. I got some homies that I keep real close to my heart. And when I met you, I think I told you, I got a couple, when you're down, some of the strangest things happen and some of the strangest people become your friends. And I got 2 black homies that to this day, we did a lot of time. We've been involved in riots and I still touch base with them. They have my back. And it's funny because you never will guess who would have your back in a time when you really need it.
That's so deep. Yeah. Have you ever been involved in riots opposite of them or like where it was?
Yeah, and
I've been involved. No, I break bread.
When you got a homie, I mean, one thing I don't like to do is expose game, but there's been situations where like me and a homie who was a Crip and me and a homie who was a Blood, we were close enough to where he'd be like, hey, don't hit the yard today.
That's on my mama.
And I'll hit her right out the yard release. I'll hit her right to the canteen. Or I'll hit her right to that shower stall real quick.
I want to jump out there with you on that because I know how that's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
It wasn't the yard. We was in Supermax.
Yeah.
But it was a friend of mine.
Cracking in Supermax.
It was cracking. I had a friend of mine who was a Sereno, but he was actually from Pinoy Real.
Yeah.
But we went to high school together in Glendale.
Yeah.
And we was like this.
Yeah.
And our teams, we ended up in Supermax.
Yeah.
In a dorm
Yeah.
where the tension was
cracked. I know, dog. I know.
So,
Shoes on all day.
Yeah.
Dog.
Sleep with him. So
Yeah.
we got to a point where we was so close that we made our business to like sit on the bench slightly back to back.
Yeah.
Not really focus on each other and have a low key conversation.
Yeah.
And I initiated the conversation. What I told him was, hey fool, you know it ain't no love lost if it crack, but I ride with my people. And he was like, me too, fool. I'm like, yeah, I say if it do, we just do our best to try to avoid each other. And we were fortunate to not have to deal with it one-on-one, but I know that element.
And we became good friends because of that. Yes. And it was a friendship. You know what? It's a bond. It's just like fighting a war. Respect to the military, because the same thing, like what we go through on the streets and in jail, like I was telling someone also the other day, you have to respect your enemies and people you fight. And in that respect comes a bond and a friendship that you have no idea. Even if we ended up having to fight, we would get up and I would help that man up, because it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just something you go through going to war.
Even as coming up in our environments of roughness as kids and boys, there's a lot of stories. That's an old adage you often hear, that a lot of best friends started off fighting. I can look through my experience, and if we didn't actually fight, a lot of the tightest cats I ended up with in the streets, we were at least bumping heads when we met. My homie T-Mac from Q102, neighborhood to the neighborhood, east to the homie. I swear to God, we met, it was hella tension. It almost went up. And it turned into where we got to like this. Another example I could think of, rest in peace, Young Flo from Lantana. When we first met, we was bucking heads like rams. It almost went to a head, and then we ended up spending years of like, so that is a element of just growing up that I've seen happen a lot of times. I know you from the east side like me. Give us an idea of the environment you grew up in, the area, town.
Well, I grew up in San Fernando Valley, east side of the valley.
Ease up.
East Valley kid. I between the cities of Mission Hills and Sun Valley. Sun Valley's a little rough. It's urban. It's, I want to say urban, but it's like industrial.
Okay.
A lot of car wrecking yards and couple projects, and my neighborhood's right alongside Pacoima, so I'm sure everybody knows about Pacoima. It's cracking.
Yeah, Pacoima is pretty popular these days, but it's so ironic that the most popular person from Pacoima these days doesn't speak of Pacoima much. I don't know why. It's like Pacoima would be larger at this point based on they have such a large popular representative, but it's like the cat spends more time talking about LA and Compton than he ever speaks of Pacoima. But go ahead and finish.
So east side of the valley, we're more urban, a little bit more rough in that end of the valley. The rest, like, the west side's cool with the valley, but it's nicer.
Right.
They got a couple gangs, but it's like who you fighting. Your enemies are 40 miles apart. In Pacoima, Sun Valley, San Fernando, North Hollywood, we got like, we're not. I always give respect to LA because you guys got blocks on blocks.
Every block.
Some block has two gangs, two hoods. You got essays and blacks. You got, you know what I mean? Like some streets is divided by sometimes three hoods on one street. In the valley, we're fortunate to we take streets and then or whole cities.
Right.
Reseda, San Fernando, Pacoima.
All this is love.
Yeah. So we have the most in our end of the valley.
Okay.
Minus the Sepulveda area, the Columbus and Langan area is rough.
Okay.
To this day, that's probably still the most cracking in the valley.
Were you raised by mom and dad?
Yeah, I got a middle class white family. Basic bare minimum middle class. Yeah.
Or is there any religious involvement in the upbringing?
I mean, I went to Catholic elementary school. We were Catholic turned Christian over the years, but nothing major, nothing serious.
I was raised me too. But what was it about life that caused you not to go that path and choose the path that we chose?
I grew up playing sports and stuff. I was pretty good in baseball and soccer, and I feel like it was graffiti. When graffiti hit the streets in the 90s, that's what turned my head
bad and heavy.
I was huge. Graffiti just became the sole epicenter of my life.
Wow, that's deep.
And as it grew, as you know, graffiti grows into
other things.
It just got worse from there.
So how about gang activity? Did it start on the streets or did it
Starts on the streets for me. My tagging crew joined the gang, and it just evolved,
migrated?
snowballed from there. Yeah.
Was your gang a all white gang? Were there other members outside?
No, my gang was like just a basic. We were GTA Diablos turned in. Eventually, over the years, evolved into being a Southside neighborhood. Yeah,
I've heard things I'm kind of familiar about, but not everybody from your gang chose to be Southside. Even
no.
Right.
Like me, I love my neighborhood, and I will always respect and love my neighborhood. But I chose to stay white when I went to the joint.
And does it have cause tension between you and your homies that did go that way?
Some of them it does, yeah. You know, like my older homies, my OGs, that for the most part, most of them respect me. But there's a lot of them that just want to hate and talk shit because it is what it is.
You mind speaking a little deeper into the idea of how culture and gang and classification can cause friction in the system? A lot of people don't know.
A lot of people don't know and understand how serious, like, that choice when you hit the joint. You got one choice when you get there. Like the appropriate word, whether we like it or not, is race. You're gonna pick your race. You're gonna stay with your race, or you're gonna choose to identify with another race. Which there's good and bad. You can either you choose another race and another group, whether you're a white boy who's a Southsider.
It's so deep that the system gives you the opportunity to put affiliation before race. They have to have a system of how they're going to house you for safety. And typically, it's race if you're not affiliated. But affiliation goes before race. So if Matt happened to be from Harlem Crip, raised in the ghetto with the blacks, when he got to prison, he would have the option to choose to be with a black Crip before they would put him in. Other than that, he would be in there with someone of his race. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
So you can choose, like he's saying, you can choose your race, but your affiliation with the gang sometimes, like I got a few homeboys that run Southside, and that means their bed card goes Mexican. Yeah. You know what I mean? I chose to be white because I am white, but at the same time, like I network with everybody and I fuck with my neighborhood, and it's just a choice I made. Some people don't like it. Some do. I've been getting some flack. I've been getting some flack for it, calling me a traitor. But hey, I mean, you know what I mean? You don't understand what that's like. My gang wasn't really evolved that far when I went to the joint, and there was a whole green light situation, and you know, it was rough back then. Things were different.
I don't even want to talk. I appreciate you, but you know, when you start talking about those colors, those are deeper than the white, black, and brown.
You're right.
So
you're right.
I don't even want to, cause that. But my thing is this: I had an experience where I was in prison at one time.
Yeah.
And I had a cellie that I didn't want to trade for the world. He was an older dude.
Yeah.
Let me have a top bunk. We didn't have to talk. We didn't do nothing. He was clean. He out of my way. It was perfect chilling. And one day, I swear to God, this little white boy popped up at my cell with like the Richie Rich jail spikes going back. And he was like, man, I'm a little low down from 11 East Coast. I just got out the hole. Every yard I go to, it go up. The woods is on me. The warden told me if I can't find no homie to get in the cell with, he gonna put me in the cell with a wood, cuz. He was like, cuz he get off at Whoopty Whoop. And it was like, I had no time to check. I was just on the spot with all my.
Spot.
Yeah, he had the paper for me to sign, like right there.
Marriage chrono,
I looked at, I could tell it's like, I'm like, oh. But I'm on my Crip shit, cuz it's a homie. I signed the paper. That night, once we did the change, but this the thing, the warden, once we did, no, I didn't find this, I'm gonna tell you, I found this out later. So we in the, so that night in the cell, cuz, just talking to cuz, I could tell, cuz,
something ain't right.
He ain't from the hood. So I give him the opportunity. I say, bro, if you got put on while you been in jail, let me know. He got the hood tattooed on his back arms. He as white as you.
Yeah.
This motherfuckers is still peeling pink, scabbing up. I'm
like he just did it himself in a hole or something?
No, homies, he might really, when I'm, it can go like this.
It can. I've seen homies get put on. I got a homie got put on Reseda in the joint.
Yes, and this, look, you see how you look solid, sturdy.
Yeah.
He
didn't have no schooling, nothing.
He was pencily, wiry. Yeah. He telling me stories of Valencia. That first night, this is how I knew he grew up in Valencia with his grandparents. This is the type of kid he was. He goes to the mall with his grandmother's credit card and comes back with a $2,200 dog that she didn't expect, but he gets to keep it. But even though he gets fussed out,
he said he fussed.
He gets fussed out, but so I quiz him about the hundreds, and all he could tell me was San Pedro and 100. He only knew 2 streets, and I'm like, okay, I knew what it was. So when I get to the yard and tell the rest of the homies, everybody telling me like, cuz they've been on the gang of yards. He had been down like for some time. He was like, cuz he been on your reputable homies. We can't just say this ain't new. So like I'm telling the homies, they like basically I'm stuck with cuz. So then I'm getting at the motherfucking police. I'm like, I need a cell change. They told me his situation was so motherfucking serious that they told whenever he got a cell, it ain't no change unless you get a job change. So, and that was so random. So I'm explaining this. I'm gonna make it fast, cuz it got to the point where I'm working cuz out every day. You know, you don't bring nothing to the cell. You don't break bread with yourself.
Yeah, you're not bringing nothing to eat. You're not going to work. You're just sitting around watching my TV.
No, he doing his shit. What I'm saying is, I'm like, if you a real homie, I'm not finna bring no weed in the cell and we ain't gonna get high.
Yeah.
Nigga, I'm blowing in front of him. I ain't letting him hit it. He can't bring nothing in here without sharing. I'm just marking him out.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
So it's getting on my nerves to the point where it's whoop, whoop, whoop. So he doing the weirdest shit. Like we at the Domino's playing Domino's with the Bloods.
Yeah.
Having a good time. He just want to come up and get the holler. Just saying, he's just so off balance.
Yeah.
So it got to the point, cause I'm like,
he just didn't get it. Yeah, he don't get it. Yeah.
The police hated him because he was such a wood, and they couldn't stand how hard he was trying to be black.
Yeah, there is, like it or not, that's an issue that is real in the joint.
They respected everything else. So I swear, I'm telling all this story to tell you this, cuz. So one day, I remember we had like a stud dyke white female police and a Mexican dude that was the regulars in the building that night. They was cool as fuck with all the functions, just don't put them on the spot. So I remember coming home from child one night, and I'm like, we had that no move cell shit on my cell for like some months.
Yeah.
And I told him like, cuz, I need a cell move, get this nigga out my cell. And the food, they hated him so much, they was like, look, I'll move my just cell, but first you got to handle your business. EC Crip.
Yep.
What? Man, I must have.
Well, I was gonna ask you how you didn't, like, you already marketed him out, how you didn't just
cause it was like
roll him up.
I didn't because it was like I'm not bigger than the program.
Yeah.
And what the homies explained, like
you stuck with him.
He been on yards and yards with other G homies that he was every time the woods got at him, he stood on his own.
Okay.
So I can't.
So that alone will earn you a little bit of respect to where I can't just flight you for no reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they got him about 6 months in my cell of just proving that. I don't give a fuck. And
you might hold your ground, but you weird.
You weird as fuck.
You weird as fuck.
You ain't really with this shit. Then this was another thing. He started getting packages, and his package was my package. And then he started letting, when it's time for this package to come in, he started committing shit to other people.
Oh, he comes home with nothing.
Man,
with a candy bar.
Yeah, you out of here, bro.
Yeah, you gave all your shit away. Yeah.
My bad. I got way off subject, but I can just relate.
Snakewood and that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned.
Nate Bud, it's C-Mac. Shout out my loc, Spotter Low, cuz. Nate Bud, on hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight me? Fight crib.
Point blank, through no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood crib, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be, yeah.
Black Box Productions.